and then we will live stream. One moment. All right. Well, we want to thank you, Zoom, those that are here live on Zoom, and those that are going to watch this live on Facebook now or in the coming days, months, and years. So I'm Rich Groff. I am your host. I am a certified financial planner that has turned passionate about health and wealth. And I've been practicing financial planning now for over 35 years. And it's all I knew prior to 2 years ago when my personal health was transformed by a patch that looks like this, looks like a little sticker about the size of a quarter. Uh, and I went from a major skeptic for 2 months to my sleep restored within weeks. Uh, my anxiety medication I was addicted to over 18 years, no longer. And not only that, but all medications no longer in the fourth month. Fifth month, my blood test came back. I didn't need testosterone replacement therapy. I'd been doing that for 13 years, costing me about $500 a month. And even more importantly, my blood test said I had perfect blood. Nothing was wrong for the first time. And I had done quarterly blood tests for 13 years, folks. So I'm here with Eric Anderson out of SandPoint, Idaho, age 78. And really interesting story how my business partner, Jeff Pattison, met uh, Eric. And he's going to share a little bit about his health transformation. It happened really, really quick and is still happening. So, Eric, would you say hello to those that are viewing?
Yeah, so I'm glad to meet you all. I feel very blessed to be able to be here today for many reasons, but especially because I have such an incredible experience to talk about.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna have you just go backwards, and I'm calling from Rapid City, South Dakota. I woke up to negative 22-degree weather. That's why I kept my hat on today. And Eric is in Sandpoint. I checked, he's at about 30, 32 degrees. And that's where I'm headed next to ski and snowboard. And I'm here on work. I'm working and playing. So then I get to head to Arizona and have some nice weather. And I'm looking forward to that as well. So, Eric, if you would share for those that are listening, as far as your health challenges you've had, and then we'll go from there to you heard about these patches through Jeff. We'll share how that happened, and then what you've noticed in the last 3 months. So go
Well,
ahead.
when I looking back at like 3.5 months ago, if you had told me I would be feeling as good as I do now, looking as good as I do now, by the way, and so many things have been improved, I would have told you you're crazy. And especially if you had showed me one of those little patches and said, that's what's going to do it. And I would have said, yeah, right. There's no way. But I had so many things. I mean, I had a very serious case of neuropathy, which kept me from sleeping in my bed. I had to sit in a chair at night. My neuropathy is still here, by the way, but not, it's been reduced dramatically, so I get to sleep in the bed, which is a big improvement, believe me. I had, my lungs had been damaged by COVID. I had about 50% capacity. My energy level was very low. I had long COVID, so my memory was failing. I was having trouble with memory, remembering words. I would miss, like if I got interrupted doing something at work, I would then forget what I was doing and do something else, and then I would realize later, oh, I didn't finish doing that, and because I ran into it on the email or something. But I would just not get. I would lose connection with stuff as I was working, and I also had my intestines were messed up. I had some kind of blockage. It's causing a lot of problems. The doctors tried to find it, and they didn't find it. I was scheduled to go in for a PET scan, but I canceled that. I'll tell you that later. But didn't do that. Let's see. I'm missing some of the things. I had a knee that was very, very bad. Not as bad as my wife's, but pretty bad. And I knew where it was headed, which was knee replacement, which I didn't want to do. And let's see, I'm missing some stuff. And I can't.
I'll let you think about that. I'm going to interrupt you, but I didn't give you a good introduction. So I'm going to give you a good introduction and then we'll come back. So keep thinking on what all has transpired. But you're you're an entrepreneur. You own a company. You're basically retired and working, but your background, my understanding is you had over 100 patents. You worked about 9 years with Apple and then the spinoff of Apple called Flashpoint.
Mhm.
So about 3/4 of those patents are at Apple and a quarter of those are with Flashpoint. Is that correct?
Yeah, roughly. Yeah, there's some other companies as well, but that's primarily the where the patents are. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're an IT guy, then you form your own company. And how long have you been doing what you're doing in SandPoint? You're right now you're calling from your business, so you're retired but working. You're one of those guys that will never stop working like me. You enjoy what you do. So
Well, yeah, it can get very boring sitting around at home watching TV, reading books. I mean, that's fun for a little bit, but yeah, I enjoy doing engineering, and so that's what I do. And I'm not so good at marketing, but engineering is one of the things I do, and project management on overseeing other people. We started this company back in 2017 when I saw a need for this communication system for emergency use. And of course, it has a lot of other applications, but that was why we call it PrepCom for Prepper Communication. There's a lot of preppers up here in Northern Idaho, and they were using the wrong kind of communication. So we've been working hard to solve that problem. And we have solved that problem. Now
So
the
your company, Eric, if I can interrupt you, is PrepCom, PREPPCOMM, PrepCom.
yeah.
And so uh, interrupted you. We go back into your knee. So severe knee pain, getting ready for a knee replacement. What other challenges did you have from a physical standpoint, health concerns?
Well, my throat was I was having a hard time with my throat. I mean, my voice was very gravelly.
Yeah.
That's not quite exactly right, but it was sort of like that. And I didn't really know what was causing it, but my suspicion is it was stuff coming up from my lungs, but I wasn't sure. I mean, a lot of this stuff, I had high blood pressure, that's another one. Um, and let's see, what am I missing? I'm sure some other things will come up. I should have had a little cheat sheet because there's so many different factors that have gotten better. It's easy to forget some of them.
That's all right. Yeah, so we're going to have an update because you're only 3 months into this. We're going to get you back with an update in 6 months because you're having so many things occurring so quickly. It's pretty exciting. That's why we wanted to have you on board. But I'm gonna have Jeff unmute himself, and we're going to share a little bit about how you guys met each other, and then we're going to share. Eric's going to share a little bit about what he's noticed in these last 3 months with his health. So Jeff, you go to a men's Bible study in SandPoint, Idaho, and you meet Eric, who's running the men's Bible study, and tell us a little bit how you started talking about the patches.
Yeah, it was a divine kind of thing. I met one of Eric's friends at church, and I asked around and said, "Hey, are there any men's Bible studies around?" And he's like, "Hey, come with me on Tuesday." Went to his house at 7 in the morning, drove me to one of their friends' houses where Eric was leading the men's group, and I'd never met Eric. And we kind of went around the room, and I'm the new guy with a bunch of amazing retirees like Eric, and they're kind of grilling me, going, "What do you do?" So I kind of just shared a little bit why I was in Sandpoint, which is a new adventure for me, and asked me what I did, and I held up what these do. And Eric was one of the ones that reached out to me, and it's been really quite an adventure
So,
since then.
so Eric reaches out. Eric, little disbelief, or I should say, some severe disbelief that these would help transform your health. Now let's fast forward 3 months later. What's happened to your health?
Well, it's really amazing. So the first month, not much happened. I mean, I thought my energy level was higher. I thought that I was thinking a little clearer. That was pretty much it. However, I did notice my knee was getting better. So that was probably the most obvious change. Was that my knee was not hurting as much or at all. At that point, I can't remember. I think it was just mostly not hurting. But by the time we got to January 20th, which is a very memorial day for me. I'll never forget it, between Trump's inauguration and receiving God back in the Capitol. And that day, I was, again, a Bible study day. It was Tuesday morning, and I go to Bible study, and I'm filled with energy. That's the change, one of the changes, filled with energy. And I'm explaining to the guys, okay, here's what's happening. And one of the other guys said, I want that. I mean, I've never seen you with so much energy. And by the way, your face looks better. And you know, so he was my first sign up. And then I had another guy that I know separately that he needs.
So just to interrupt you. So these guys are asking what's going on. Your skin improved as well?
Yeah, I mean, look at my face. I mean, I just look better. Don't have any quantitative quality. It's just quality. I look younger. I look more vital. The color of my skin is better. I don't know how to describe it. I just look good.
I,
I don't even have a picture of me as before that I can say, here's how I looked before and here's how I look now. But people notice.
So you're married. Sandy's not on the call, but we're going to get Sandy on the call in 6 months with you, your wife. How long have you and Sandy been married, Eric?
We've been married since 72. So that's like, what? 70, no, 60, 50 some, 55 years or something like that. I can't remember. You know, I do mathematics here.
That's about, 53 years this year.
53, 54, something like that.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So your wife, did she start noticing changes in you as well?
Well, she got, of course, once I got to the point where I realized all these changes were happening, at the same time, I'm noticing my wife going down really fast. I mean, she was having trouble functioning at home. Every night when I got home after work, it was a disaster happening in the kitchen. I mean, she was just having trouble making it through the day. And I thought, oh my gosh, I mean, I got to do something about this. I got to talk her into starting to take these, you know. And I did. She was willing to do it, and she's been on it now only 3 weeks, I think. And I think she has noticed a little bit. But I tell you this, here's the other trick here: other people notice things before you do.
Yes.
See, on the 20th of January, I had not fully recognized how much energy I had. I certainly hadn't recognized that I looked better. Well, with my wife, I can see her behavior changing. She's not, I don't go home to a disaster every night. Okay. That's a big improvement, by the way, just for me. And other people have noticed that how she sounds on the phone is different, you know, that she sounds completely different on the phone. So she's not seeing that yet. But that's okay, because I find that this stuff sneaks up on you. And suddenly, at one point, for some reason, it suddenly occurs to you, or somebody points it out, that something is different. And then you go, oh my goodness. That's what happened just a little while ago when I realized, you know, my throat, my sound pretty good like I used to.
And you said you had severe dry mouth all the time, you said.
Yes, so I don't have that anymore. That's what I just realized, boom, you know, I realized the dry mouth was going away, but suddenly I realized that I sound better. So it sneaks up on you. And that's true of all the things that I've seen, all the improvements that snuck up on me. For example, my lungs. One day, when I used to take out the trash, when I was done, I would be, you know, like that, because I wasn't getting enough air. Well, one day, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I get done with the trash, and Sandy says, "You're not out of breath." Oh yeah.
Wow.
Out of breath. It's just like she noticed it before I did.
Sure. Yeah, being
Well,
married 33 years and seeing each other's health deteriorate, it's you got a team effort here. And I've seen your spreadsheet. I know you're an engineer because I've seen your spreadsheet. You're tracking everything in detail, which we encourage everybody to journal. We first start you off with a health tracker to complete that health tracker, which is going to prompt you to the various things that are going to change in a positive manner in time. I want to preface the fact that time, you didn't get to where you're at overnight. You're not going to have it correct itself by regenerating your own body's cells overnight. It might take time. In Eric's situation, this is faster than normal for somebody that's 78 years old. And with that, I'm going to read a little disclaimer. Always consult with your physician or other qualified healthcare provider before embarking on a new treatment, diet, or fitness program. We assume no liability or responsibility for damage or injury to persons or property arising from any use of any product, information, idea, or instruction contained in materials provided to you. I would just like to say, in my 18 years being addicted to an anxiety medication that I found out after I was off of it in month 4 of patching, that not one of the 2 physicians that was prescribing it to me ever came up with a plan to get off of it, nor did they ever suggest to get off of it. And I'd like to encourage everybody that you may not get a positive response from a physician that's trained on medication only. They're trained
right.
on medication, right, Eric? Not
Yeah.
to get off of medication. It is their pension plan, their annuity stream. And if you don't think for a minute they're not being compensated by keeping as many people on medication as possible, you're naive. So, with that said, Eric, you've had some major transformation, positive transformation in your health. What would you say to the person that's skeptical, that says, no way, not me? Yeah, that's nice for Eric. Happened to him, but it won't happen to me.
Well, it's interesting. I was very skeptical. I mean, I'm an engineer, I'm a scientist. I understand light. I understand the frequencies involved. I understand a lot about that stuff. So that made it harder for me because it's like, you got to be kidding me. I mean, I could put a piece of tinfoil on my skin and it reflects all the frequencies. That should work just fine. Well, of course, I know that doesn't work, but that's the kind of thinking I was going through. And I didn't really grasp it. And to be honest with you, I'm not a biologist or whatever. The theology, the science that's involved in how your body operates. I don't know
Sure.
much about that. I'm an engineer, okay, but I do understand physics. And so it was really hard for me to believe that light, the right frequencies and very tiny amounts would have a drastic effect. Well, it's like in a chemical reaction, you have a catalyst that's very tiny, can make a huge vat of chemicals go boom and change. Just a
Yes, I
teeny bit,
love that analogy. That's
right?
good.
And that's just, this is a catalyst because actually the patch is actually not doing the healing. The
Yes.
patch is turning on machinery that God built into your body at creation. That is the healing. The healing
Yes.
is built in. It's already part of your body. It's what Jesus created. And is all the patch is doing is turning it back on because it got turned off because of the junk in the environment, whatever happened to you in your life, and you're getting old and all that kind of stuff. And what is all this is happening is it's turning it back on. And now your age is going backwards. And that, by the way, going backwards is a problem because you know what to do with going forward. When things stop working, you know how to deal with that. Okay, now I have to take this pill, or now I have to do this. But now when you're going backwards, like with my neuropathy, it was like, okay, I had to stop wearing compression socks. Well, that was a big deal, and it was really hard, and there was a huge mess around that. And finally, it was like, oh, I don't need to wear compression socks. And then, and it's like now stopping using Flomax, which is a drug to help me urinate. Well, I don't take it anymore, but knowing when to stop taking it is different than knowing when to start taking it, right? So going backwards is an interesting issue that you have to think differently about.
No, that's really good, and thank you for that. Now, Eric, have you gotten new blood tests done, and are you at 90 days? Have you done that yet?
No, I expect to have a blood test in probably within a month. I
Okay.
did have a blood pressure test the other day, which surprised me. It was 118/72 in the doctor's office when it's
Wow.
usually higher than normal because, I'm in the doctor's office.
Yeah.
I was surprised. That's like, I don't remember having that low of a blood pressure in the doctor's office. Geez, I don't know, 20, 30 years. I mean, it's a long time. So
That's
that was a
fantastic.
surprise.
That's a good surprise.
Yeah, well, these are all good
Yeah.
surprises.
Yeah. So I'm just going to share real quick that this, for those that aren't familiar, this is a non-transdermal patch, meaning nothing from the patch goes in your body, unlike a transdermal patch being a nicotine patch, for example. Nothing foreign enters the body. And as Eric said, 100% correct. If it's a non-transdermal patch, then it's 100% your own body healing itself. So it works sort of like a mirror, and that mirror reflects our own body's light. The analogy I like to use is the sun. The sun shines on our body and it causes or creates, allows our body to create vitamin D. Nobody questions that.
Right.
So why should we question the fact that we've got a light and heat radiates off our bodies about 3 inches, in fact. So this doesn't even have to be placed on the skin. It can be placed on your garment. If you saw me interview Dr. James Kenneller, he was introduced to these patches. He's been patching now for about 3 years. He's a cardiologist, MD out of Arizona. Dr. Kenneller had a really bad shoulder, had a sport coat on. They put the patch outside of his sport coat and the pain went away. And he's like, wow, I need to know more. Tell me more. And now here we are. So that is the way they work. They're also important for people to know that there's no contraindications, meaning it won't interfere with any medications you're on. In 20 years, there's never been any side effects because of the fact that nothing enters the body that's foreign. It's looked at, because it's not a food or a drug, as a Band-Aid. But it's so much more than a Band-Aid, as Eric has shared with you. We the inventor is celebrating 20 years. This technology started with the U.S. Navy SEALs and then has transgressed along the years to where the Olympic team, we know the Kansas City Chiefs are using, over a dozen players are using this technology, Michael Phelps, a lot of elite athletes. And we're using it as well with athletes that we've introduced us to. Really, really exciting. Over 100 global patents, over 100 independent clinical studies. More information, feel free to reach out to Eric. Eric has an event. He's so excited about this. He's hosting an event at his business, and that's going to be in SandPoint, Idaho, next Tuesday, the 25th at 5:00 p.m. And that's 130 McGee Road, and that's PrepCom, PREPPCOMM, 130 McGee Road, Suite 220 in SandPoint, 5:00. So if you're watching this and you're local, come on out to that event. I know Jeff and I will be there supporting Eric and helping as many people, spreading the word about this. This is life transforming. And the cool thing about it is you don't have to spend tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars. This is turning on your own body's master cells. And at age 35, half those master cells go to sleep. And by 65, we virtually have no active master cells. This is proven to activate a peptide called GHK copper peptide. Write it down. GHK copper peptide is the fountain of youth. That proven to wake up the body's stem cells. And with that, in time, you have the ability to have some really neat results like Eric has experienced in only 3 months. And we tell people allow a minimum of a month per decade of age. So Eric knew, I know, because I know Jeff Pattison told him, hey, focus on 78, focus on 8 months, sir. And here we are, 3 months, amazing results. Similar to my mom at age 80, she had amazing results within 90 days. Arthritis pain went away. She can do 25 push-ups on her knees at age 80. And more things happened to her skin. And I'm like, Jeff, we need to tell the world about this. So back in June, we bought an RV and we've been traveling over 30,000 miles. We went to 5 countries. I'm doing financial planning on the road. I'm doing it in my office. I have an office building in Peoria, Arizona. And here I am working and playing in negative 22-degree weather in South Dakota, talking to Eric, heading towards you, my friend. So that's the technology. And if any questions, again, feel free to reach out. And I'm going to close off today. Eric, if you have any more you'd like to say, go ahead and we'll close off as soon as you're done and open up for questions for those that are on Zoom.
Okay, yeah, a couple of things. It's true that you can't assume that it's going to happen fast, and but it's funny because the other guy in the Bible study, he got his patches, and the first thing he tried was out his shoulder. His wife and he both have really difficult shoulders, and they couldn't lift up their arm about this. And he plays the piano and was having trouble reaching over to play on the higher notes. And so he put one on his shoulder and noticed after 2 days that it felt a lot better. And so his wife asked him, "Can I try one?" and she could feel improvement in 1 day. I was blown away when I called him up the next week just to see how things were going. He wasn't starting the patches I wanted him to start on. He was using the ones on his shoulder, but I was blown away that he had that fast reaction. It's like, you got to be kidding me. You could tell, your wife could tell in 1 day. So, I mean, it's amazing
Yeah.
that can happen, but it also can happen that it takes 6 months. I mean, it just depends on your body. And I think the other thing it depends on is where you place my suspect is a factor and stuff like that. I don't really know.
Yeah. The patches happen to be systemic, meaning I might have knee pain and I could put it on my ear and it could help my knee. And we've
Yeah.
had it happen with people. Their knee pain has gone away if they put no patches on the knee.
Huh.
There's also a protocol of 2 patches on the inside and the outside of the knee that helps regenerate cartilage. It's proven to do that. So just depending on their situation, the 2 patches we really like to recommend, and these 2 patches are equivalent to about $6 a day cost. And being a financial advisor, I can look at your expenses, folks, and I can find $6 a day of waste. You can invest $6 into your health. You can commit to a month per decade.
I like
And
that.
it
That's
totally
good.
change your life. Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate that. The 2 patches is reduced body's inflammation. Inflammation is what kills the ability to wake up your body's master cells. And then the master cell patch to to allow your body to start to turn the clock back. And that's pretty cool because we can prove scientifically that as we age on our chromosomes, our telomeres shorten. Patching for a year, they start to lengthen average person can turn their clock back biologically by 8 years. So we have 2 clocks. We have Eric Anderson calendar clock age 78. Now we have Eric Anderson biological clock. And where is that going to be a year, 2, 3, 4, 5 down the road? It's going to be less. I can tell you that right now.
Right.
Right now, your biological clock, because you had a lot of health issues, may not be 78. Maybe when we started patching you 3 months ago, it was 82.
Yeah.
Maybe it was
Very
83,
possible. Yeah.
you know, maybe it was 85.
Yeah.
Maybe now you're even. Who knows? But that's a test that we recommend looking at taking in year 2, like Jeff and I are going to be doing. So pretty exciting stuff. So I'm going to.
And your ability to do the financial planning, one of the guys in our group, he's going to need that, because I know that what you just said about that is great, and he's struggling financially,
Mhm.
so that's what he needs. It's like, okay, I can't afford this. Well, just a minute now.
Yeah, a double negative, you can't not afford it, right? Yeah. Well, I'm
Yeah.
gonna close off, say goodbye to those that are on Facebook. We'll be right back. Here we go.